I just finished filming a review of iRobot, and I've got a little extra time tonight, so I'm going to try to knock out one of these tags that I've been tagged in. I was tagged by the BookTube Goddess for the Backstage Book Tag, and this one's kind of interesting, and I figured I could probably knock this one out pretty quickly. If you haven't seen the BookTube Goddess, you got to check out her channel. She does some great video editing. She is the #1 drag queen book reviewer on YouTube, so check her out.
Hello mortals, I am the BookTube Goddess, the #1 drag queen booktuber on YouTube.
Let's get started.
Question 1. What camera do you use for your videos?
That's pretty simple. I use my iPhone. I have two phones. I have a phone I use for work, and then I've got the iPhone, which I use for this filming, and then when I'm training, I use it for some of my Zoom calls because it's the most reliable internet, and I can do some of my virtual training stuff on there. I haven't upgraded to a regular camera yet. The iPhone's doing just fine for me right now. I would like to see the quality of my film increase a little bit, so I think eventually I'll upgrade to a real camera, real lights. Right now I'm just using the ring lights, and yeah. Next question, please.
It's Erik from Breakeven Books. Do you have a favorite film director?
Yes, I'd say I have two, Paul Thomas Anderson and Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott is just phenomenal. I love the work that he does. The best thing I can say about what I like about his work is that when he creates a movie, the world, whatever that world is, you believe it exists. He has that power to create these worlds, whether it's Gladiator or Aliens or Blade Runner, and it really feels like that's a real world. Rather than watching make-believe, we're watching something that's happening in this world that he's created. And Paul Thomas Anderson, two of my favorite movies are There Will Be Blood and Magnolia. So yeah, those are my two favorite directors. Next question.
Question 3. What microphone do you use and what program do you use to edit your videos?
Well, right now I'm using this lavalier mic, and I've been using this for the last, I think, few weeks, maybe the last month or two. I was using this other one that sort of plugs into the iPhone, and it was okay. It was better than the iPhone microphone. This, I think, is working a little bit better. I'd like to upgrade to something else. Maybe I want to say they're called the Blue Yeti. I'm not as familiar with all of the gadgets, but I am a little intimidated about using something that takes more than just my iPhone. Right now I like that I can do this and it goes right to the phone. Everything's right there, and then I can bring it over to the iMovie and work on it. I feel like with a professional microphone I would have to get involved in additional hardware, and I'm a little intimidated by that. I do feel like I could handle it once I get there and then maybe find a tutorial on YouTube and watch that and figure it all out, but for right now this is going to have to work just fine.
Do you remember your first record?
Yeah, two come immediately to mind. One is Rock Candy Mountain. It's a kid's story on a record. I was very young for these. And another one was The Fox and the Hound, which was a Disney one. And I remember that because there was a character in it and his name was Todd, and my brother's name is Todd. And there's this part where the fox says it, or one of the fox or the hound, one of them says, "You're my friend too, Todd." And that just sticks in my head.
How do you prepare for your videos?
All right, this one's a little bit more in depth. When I'm reading a book, so I'm going to talk about when I do a book review video. When I'm reading a book, I don't usually take notes, but I'll take notes if something pops out at me. So I'll be reading and I think, oh, that's curious, or oh, I'm really liking this part of the book. This is really great. I should talk about this in the video. I'll write that down. And then once I write it down, like I really flesh out my thoughts. And then when I see it all there, I'm like, oh, this is brilliant. I've got to use this. So then I can't freestyle it. So I've got to actually keep those notes with me when I actually film the video. So while I'm reading, I take those notes and I've got my likes and my dislikes. And if you watch this channel, you know I always do 5 likes and 5 dislikes. Once I get through the spoiler-free part of the video, those will be my spoilers. And hopefully they will generate some form of discussion. Well, when I finish reading and I'm ready to get to the point where I'm looking at doing a video review, I have to then get my notes together. I've got to write out a summary of the book, what, you know, the plot points in the spoiler-free part of it, and then I do my likes and dislikes. And often I'll look on my list, I'm like, oh wait, I've got 8 likes and 10 dislikes, and I've got to narrow that down to 5 and 5. So maybe I'll consolidate some of them, or I'll just throw some of the ones out that I are like, why did I write that down? That wasn't that interesting. And then sometimes I might have 2 likes and 3 dislikes, and then I've got to really sit back and sort of manufacture all right, let me think, what didn't I like about this book? So that takes a little bit of time to do. Probably the hardest part of the whole process is writing that all out and creating sort of a script. Then I feed that into a teleprompter app. And because I can't do this freestyle, these book tags, even these are difficult to do freestyle. I'm just talking and I'm seeing myself in the iPhone as I'm doing it. So it is a little, I'm not able to kind of pull everything forward. So I do have a script and I just try to read it as natural as I can. I always put sort of gaps in there so that I can kind of go off the cuff a little bit so I'm not just sitting there reading my own script. I don't know how exciting it would be if I just sat there and read the whole thing the whole time. Then once I've filmed it, I will put it into my iMovie software and I'll cut it and do whatever kind of editing I want. If I want images of the books or anything else like that, I'll put that in there too. Next question.
Question 6. TV shows have become the thing of our time. Game of Thrones, Stranger Things, Netflix, HBO, Amazon. What is your favorite TV shows ever? Name a maximum of 3.
This is a hard one to narrow down to just 3. And I took notes earlier. This was one where I was really trying to think through it because, you know what? I'm not going to follow the rules. I'm just going to read what I've got. I've got Damages, Dexter, Stargate, all the different versions of Stargate, Law and Order SVU, I love that. 24, when I watched that like 8 or 9 years ago, like tore through those. Were like season 1, season 2, season 3, got right through it. Fringe, Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and Curb Your Enthusiasms are probably my 2 favorite like comedy, sitcom-y type things. Cheers used to be like a long time ago. RuPaul's Drag Race, that's something like my husband and I will watch together, and I could actually watch several episodes of that. And that's one of the ones where like I actually watch like as they come up each week. Usually I don't watch a lot of TV, I do a lot more reading, so the few times we watch TV together, we're generally watching RuPaul's Drag Race. And Star Trek The Next Generation is a good one. So I'm not going to pick 3, I just listed all of those, so we're good to go. Next question.
What kind of BookTube videos do you prefer to watch and why? Reviews, wrap-ups, vlogs, book hauls, tag videos, or...
This is a good one. I do like to watch science fiction ones because that's what I do, and I like to see what other people are doing. I think probably the best, I watch all of them. I think, I shouldn't say the best because I don't want to alienate anybody, but what I will say is Quinn's Ideas just does such a great job of diving into Dune, and also to a lesser extent, not less good, but a lot of his focus is on Dune, which is really great. But he takes on Foundation and Asimov a lot, which is, you know, some of my favorite science fiction, well, Dune and Foundation, so obviously I'm going to love this channel. It's really great content. And then everybody else that I watch who does sci-fi is really good too. I actually watch more non-sci-fi than sci-fi, and I do that on purpose because I do always like to broaden my horizons. I purposely seek out YouTubers who are in different countries, especially in Southeast Asia or in Africa, areas where I assume cultures are a lot different than my own, and I like to see those different perspectives. I also like to go a lot out of genre and, you know, cozy romance, cozy mystery, fantasy, crime, all those things. Not because those are things that I want to read, but for me, the joy of watching BookTube is, yes, when I feel I want that science fiction fix, or if I read a book and I want to see what other people are saying about it because it extends the life of that book, I also want to see what people who are passionate about books are talking about, because there's a lot of BookTube channels that I watch and the reviews are fine, but you can tell like it's just like, you know, this is a job and I'm doing a review. But then there's a lot of channels where people are just like so passionate about it. So it doesn't matter if it's science fiction, if it's fantasy or whatever. A lot of the fantasy channels, especially that I watch, the YouTubers are just so passionate about what they read, and that's what kind of feeds me. I love watching live streams, and there aren't a lot of science fiction live streams. There's a lot more that are fantasy or ones that are just talking about issues in BookTube, and I like to watch those too, and I like to participate those, and I like the conversation, and I really like the community of BookTube. There's comics channels and things like that, and like I don't read comics at all, but some of the best community and the things I look most forward to are some of the live streams I see on like ComixKings and some other things. I like to just sit back and watch and observe, because these are people that are passionate about what they're reading, and I really like seeing that because they're passionate about reading the way I'm passionate about it. It just doesn't happen to be science fiction, and that's okay. Next question.
Question 8. Watching TV was probably a part of all of our childhoods. These years it has become less popular. What kind of media user are you?
What kind of media user are you? I'm trying to think what this question is really asking, like what do I watch? So I watch, if that's what it is, I watch BookTube. I watch a little bit of TV, like I said. I don't watch anything live anymore. And it's like, I feel like I could have one thing like Amazon or Hulu, and I would just find something on there that has like 5 seasons, and then I would just watch through that, and that would be just fine for me. I don't like to watch things where like I have to wait and see what's going to be happening next week. I don't have time for that. I'd much rather be reading a book than watching a show. Occasionally we'll go to the movies. I used to love going to movies, especially double headers. Those were the best. Now, I just don't feel like being in a movie theater. I'd much rather be sitting and reading a book. Tags. Who do I tag? So I'm going back to my envelope notepad for this one because there's 4 people I want to tag, and I thought about this specifically. Sometimes I get through these and I'm like, oh, who should I tag? This time I really wanted to think about it because I like this one because it's more kind of behind the scenes, and it doesn't have to be specifically sci-fi booktube people or the people that I watch all the time that are similar to what I do. So I'm going to tag ComixKings Brandon because again, like I don't think some of the stuff that I usually do in tags would apply to Brandon, but I think this is the tag that he could do. And likewise, Bryce at Hillbilly Comics. Bryce and Brandon are often hosting, or usually Brandon is hosting a live stream and Bryce is talking about it. And I didn't think I'd ever be reading comics or graphic novels, but I get so like pumped up listening to them talk about it and how intelligent they are about these comics. And Bryce especially gave me really great recommendations, just in my inbox, and I went and I bought some of them, and like I really liked it. He recommended God Country to me. I'm really enjoying that graphic novel. And Brandon, and he has another guest, Chad and Ryan, on his show sometimes, and they've given me recommendations too. So I'm really liking being a part of that community. I'm trying to read more comics because I want to be able to participate more in those live streams, but for right now I'm just kind of a bystander watching it and just enjoying and seeing like, wow, these guys really know their stuff, and that's great. EpicTalez, who does really creative stuff, I absolutely recommend checking out his channel. He is a very like madly talented guy. Check out his stuff. And then I want to tag Ben's Book Cave. I don't remember how I got connected to that channel. Ben is a younger YouTuber, and I just remember one of the videos, I think he was saying he doesn't get tagged or hasn't gotten tagged because maybe somebody asked him about it. So I'm going to tag Ben's Book Cave. And that's a good channel to watch too because it's a different generation. It's a much different perspective. It's stuff that I don't read. And like it's a much more kind of casual approach. And like I'm too like, I've got to have my notes and everything. And he just, I think it's a younger brain. You can just recall stuff and sit in front of a camera and just spout off and talk about all the things you love about the book. So check out all these channels. I'm going to put that in the descriptions. Hillbilly Comics, ComixKings, EpicTalez, and Ben's Book Cave. So thank you for watching today. Please like and please subscribe. A couple things I've got coming up soon. One is the big project I'm working on, which is my 150 science fiction reads list. So I'm ranking 150 science fiction books based on how much I've liked them. And I'm not just like putting the list out there. Like I went through all 150 and thought about this, and I tinkered and played with it. So it's really going to be like, if you look at number 88 and 89, that's exactly where I want them, at 88 and 89. There's no filler on this list. And these are all books that I really liked all the way through 150. They're just ranked. I also have an original tag that I'm working on, the Around the World in 80 Pages tag. And that's a few weeks away. And then the 150 list will probably come sometime after that. That's taken me about 4 weeks to work on up until this point on the 150 list, and probably going to take me another 3 or 4 weeks. So thank you for watching. Please like, please subscribe, click the notification bell, and YouTube's going to let you know every Thursday at 1 o'clock when I release new content. Thank you.